guys, how y'all doing? My name is Nick Rubolino, and this is the Don't Move, Improve podcast from Munz Construction. Today we have Jeff Mitchell, one of our renovation specialists. He's been with us for a long time, so I'm excited to have you.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Right on, man. All right, so let's just get right into it. You're a renovation specialist. You've been here for what, 10 years?
It's been so I started in 2019, so about 6, going on 7 this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great growth path with me since I've started here. Love the team, love the day-to-day.
Mm-hmm. Did you have experience with construction before coming to Munz, or was this kind of your first foray into it?
So this was my first sales job in construction. So when I first started, I actually had a mason that grew up was 2 doors down from me. So when I was 14, summers, hey, want a couple $100, wheel some wheelbarrows full of concrete. I did that for a couple summers for him. When I graduated, I was a window cleaner for about a year. Until a permanent spot opened up on my neighbor's crew. And then I started with him. Always kind of I worked with him from almost 14 to about 18. Mm-hmm. When I turned 18 and graduated high school, started to look into other avenues of construction. I didn't want to just do concrete for the rest of my life. I kind of wanted a broad aspect of everything that I could get my hands on, essentially. So I started as a laborer in Union 57. I was there for a couple months as well. The union gig wasn't really too much of what I wanted to kind of entail. I didn't want to stick to one thing. So I ended up, our general manager here, Eric, mm-hmm. Was a coach over at Revolution Ice Gardens. I was coaching at the same time. Mm-hmm. Me and him started chatting, and before you know it, I ended up over here within a couple of weeks of meeting Eric, and just kind of got right into everyday stuff in the sales and the estimating in the world over here.
Mm-hmm. So he brought you on to be a salesman.
Yep. Sales and estimating right out of the gate, because I had some general knowledge under my belt already. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't too much training other than just kind of the way we do things here.
Yeah.
So code and all that kind of stuff was kind of general knowledge for me, but
yep.
How we operate day to day really kind of just fit a groove that I just fit right into.
Yeah. Speaking of how we operate here, how does Munz Construction operate differently than other construction experiences that you've had? What makes us stand out, essentially?
The time and the patience with a lot of the clients. When you're in the field, especially for bigger commercial sized projects, there's a lot of hot button topics that you can get into. You're delayed, we're off budget, this guy's taken, this guy calls out. Or the crews aren't available, and everybody's union. So it gets into you're bumping heads sometimes on the job site. So over here, everybody's a part of the same crew, the same team. There's project managers that are timelining, that are spanning the process out, mm-hmm. and clear communication right out of the gate. So all expectations are kind of set right out of the gate. There's not, oh, by the ways, halfway through the job of, oh my goodness, we forgot, or these guys are delayed, or the countertops are delayed, or anything like that. I mean, there's some day-to-day stuff like that, but for the most part, everything's kind of well scheduled out, organized. Everybody's got their role to take place in each project that we run. So it just seems like more of a well-oiled machine where everything kind of goes together instead of putting things together after the fact or managing crews after the fact. Everything's kind of set out in their own, everything's set out from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're a well-oiled machine now. But when you first got here, were we a well-oiled machine, or how has that changed?
Definitely more by adding more team members. So we were a little spread thin. I mean, I was here during the pandemic where we didn't go down to a complete skeleton crew, but I mean, there was a lot of jobs that weren't getting done. People didn't want their kitchens done or their bathrooms done during the middle of the pandemic. So we ended up dropping down a little bit just because jobs weren't getting done. But then once things kind of picked back up, we were deemed, what do they call it?
An essential
business. So once we were kind of deemed that, people kind of lowered their shoulders a little bit. Mm-hmm. We were able to bring some of the project managers back, and everything really got back organized. But they were able to kind of restructure some of the project managers. Mm-hmm. So things got a little bit more clear and concise of who was running what jobs. Mm-hmm. And Also, as far as like the sales and the estimating team, we went down to only a couple guys. Now, I mean, we have 8 or 9 sales and estimators over at the Newtown office now. So everybody can now kind of more specify or specialize in certain projects.
Yeah.
So, some guys take care of decks, some guys take care of more exterior driven projects like covered porches or front porches or additions or in-law suites. So I mainly stay more towards the interior stuff right now. I bid almost everything that we've done, but kind of more staying towards that.
Mm-hmm. What is it like at the Newtown office? I know when I started working here, we shared an office for a little bit, and then I was quickly moved, and then you were quickly moved, and now there's a whole new sales office, and I think the vibes are probably way differently.
It's
way
awesome.
different.
I love where we landed over there. I love where I landed. I got a nice corner office as soon as you walk down to the bottom of the steps. Since I've been here, we've gone through several iterations of offices. I was over at our showroom for a while with Bernie for a couple years. Then we moved back over to here. We were starting to renovate an office for me. And then we ended up taking over the other half of the building. So I got over an office basically where like Christine sits now.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, this office has great history to it. I love being here. I was actually I was at the top of the steps and like a little.
You were the one with the shower
with the shower, the man behind the curtain.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was that for about 6 months while we were renovating in here. Like we did the bathrooms. They started to put up the walls to kind of segregate things off a little bit. So yeah, I was up there, and then we made our office downstairs. But yeah, I mean, going back over to Newtown, it's a nice place to have a nice dedicated space. Every every estimator's under one roof, so I can pick Bernie's brain, or I can go to Mike, or I can go to, or even up to Steve. I mean, Steve's just right up the steps. So everybody's available to kind of help me because, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And I'll be the first one to tell you that. So, and I'm also, I've been in this business for about 10 to 12 years, but, there's guys that are on board here that have 40 years experience.
Yeah.
I'm talking to them first before I go gung-ho on the way that I think it should be done. You need a second opinion.
Yeah. That's one thing that I really appreciate about working at a company that has been around for so long. And we have so many team members that have been here for a long time. If I have a question, everybody's comfortable with answering my question. And even though, I do the marketing, it's good to get other people's, take on it. They've been in the business for a long time. They can give me insight of what has worked, what hasn't worked in the past. Right. Especially Bernie. That man has I think, a photographic memory of some sort.
I mean, photographic memory. I mean, he's got every story under the book for what situation, how they fixed it, how, maybe something may have went not the way they expected it to, but at the end, everybody stood together and got the project done.
Yeah.
There's always, it's construction. There's always something that kind of comes up. It's how you handle it. And, with the experience with our team, I never have a worry when I sell a job and it goes off under the project management team and they run into, hey, Jeff, what were you thinking about this? And I'm like, well, I was thinking this. What do you think? And they'll go, well, that'll work, but we should maybe think about, like, we had a flooring job, a kitchen that's going on right now where I budgeted the staircase to get redone. Well, Ed's like, well, we should really probably do the spindles and the newels at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. We probably should. Yeah. So, and then we end up getting them a change order and they get it done. It's no problem. It's going to get done in the next couple of weeks and I'm sure it'll look beautiful. It'll look a lot better with new newels and new railings versus the old stuff. Yeah. And having to try to cut in and around it. It gets a little messy.
Yeah. I don't think I've heard about a project not looking great by the end of the process.
Yeah. That's never
it's always, we're so tuned in that no matter what someone wants, we always find a way to make it happen and not just make it happen, but make it quality and look great.
Right. Well, I mean, look, we're attached to it too. So we want your dreams to come true as you expect in every project that we run. There's always changes. You're not locked into anything when you sign on the dotted line. You're going to go over to the design team and you're going to really feel comfortable with them on how they kind of take, the project from your hands kind of back into their hands a little bit to make sure that you're seeing every option that's available. You're not kicking yourself in the butt a couple of weeks later down the line or a couple years later down the line when trends change.
Yeah. Let's move into your life as a renovation specialist. So you moved in to the office with me, and then we moved you to the Newtown office. Give me a little day in the life situation about being there, what you do there, and yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a little, just a little differently, just aside from the estimating team, because I actually like budget. I work with a couple different designers internally to make sure projects look good and, they're designed and they're exactly what the clients like. But I also do like a lot of the design reviews and the budgetary proposal reviews with the client itself. So, obviously, day starts 8:30, 9 o'clock, whether if I have an appointment first thing in the morning to go out to on site for a site visit, or just right into the office, starting into the budgeting and the proposal side of everything. I'll normally review. We have, 2 to 3 interior designers over at the sales office that I can kind of, hand a project off to them. I can give them kind of the guidelines of everything on how to design things, what the client's expecting, and then they'll produce 1, 2, maybe 3 versions of what we discussed. Then I'll go in and make sure that it's feasibly possible. Like as far as shifting walls, shifting HVAC, utilities, the big picture stuff.
Yeah.
The designers are there to make it look pretty and for you to check all your boxes off on your goal. I'm there to make sure that it can happen.
Yeah.
And then also, before we even get to that point, we're doing a couple site visits with the clients and taking their wants and their needs on their remodeling goals. So whether it's a kitchen, a bathroom, getting into a lot of basements lately, a couple in-law suite basements where, Steve was saying, where multi-generational living's kind of coming back into play. So every project is a little different as far as interiors go. But all 3 to 4 different aspects of those projects, they all have the same key ingredients. Are we doing drywall? Are we doing flooring? Are we painting? Are we trimming? Do we have to move mechanicals? They're all roughly, it's all, some more than others, but all of those guidelines kind of fall into each project that we're into.
Yeah.
So once we'll have a design finalized or 2, I'll put a budget together. And I'll make sure that we're on budget as expected with the clients. If we're starting to go a little over budget, we may have a phone call before that design review and maybe pivot one way or the other. But normally, once we kind of have a design, we're in a good ballpark place where the customer's comfortable moving forward. I'm comfortable designing it because I know we're not just designing something to design something to make it look pretty. It may actually come to fruition. And it's, just basically all of the client's needs and wants are addressed as part of that design. There may be a place we pivot off of, like there's a couple where we've designed where we added a couple saunas in showers or steam showers, stuff like that. Those are really fun. It's challenging to get mechanicals and certain utilities running in certain situations, but it's fun to get into that kind of stuff. And then we'll do a design review. So we'll go over, we have a full 3D software system that we use. The designers will input in the vanity and the countertops and your kitchen layout, everything in 3D to scale so you can expect what everything looks like when we're getting started. So once we go through that design review, sometimes we'll make a couple tweaks and changes, but normally we kind of nail it right out of the gate, usually between 1 or 2 of the designs. After that, we send a budget proposal with our allowances. Everything is called out of the monies that you have to spend in with the showroom. You'll go assign to an interior designer, go head over to there, and then, we've sold another project. You guys are on your way to getting that job completed, and I'm off to another site visit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Oh, it's a lot. There's a lot of responsibilities on our side of the fence. I mean, I have to flip the budgets, make sure the budgets are great, all the paperwork is correct, the client contact, they know what's going on, timeline. Like there's a lot that gets involved with this side of everything. I do sit in my truck a lot, going from job site to job site, and also sitting a lot of time at the office. But there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes where a lot of people are like, hey, like you guys are good and you know what you're doing, but where's everybody else? What's going on behind the scenes? And it's like you have no idea. There's 15 to 20 people plugging away behind the scenes, putting permits together and invoicing and making sure the vendors are all good and up to date and getting estimates from our vendors and so on and so forth. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's specialized renovation specialists. So your interior, we have Anthony, Isabel, I think Brian is one of our newer team members.
Yep. Yeah, he's helping me a lot out with cabinets right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tricky, especially the kitchens. Some of these big kitchens, I mean, these cabinet schedules get very, very dicey. And you just want to make sure, because you're either getting something handed off to you or you're designing it yourself. And with kitchens, more than anything else, there's so much more in and outs about the internals and what are you going to use for this cabinet versus that cabinet. There's just so many ways you can go. So having somebody that has like 20 years experience of what you can do, what you can't do, what's newly available, it's such a big help. I mean, my dad was a custom cabinet maker, so I have some ground to stand on in that realm, but I don't do it every day. Brian did it every day for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all the different factors and people involved, how does your approach as a renovation specialist differ from, let's say, Anthony or someone else? Or is it kind of just like a uniform approach across renovation specialists?
I think it all kind of boils down to, I mean, you got to be a people person and you got to problem solve. Each client's a little different. Each project's a little different, even though you may be, I mean, we do a lot of similar houses. I'm sure you've seen.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's only a couple models of houses in Bucks County. And then there's custom farmhouses. There's some custom houses and stuff like that where, it's not a cookie cutter approach. But even for some of these track houses where they're all the same model, each one is still built a little differently. It's not the same crew through and through that built these all 40, 50 years ago. So, I mean, there's a lot of the same similarities and everything, but, one maybe have opted for an option for higher basement walls. One didn't. One went for the bonus room over the garage. Another one didn't. So, each one has its own little characteristics. I mean, I've been into how many split level houses, and I've seen the HVAC system in the crawl space. I've seen it in a mechanical space next to the garage. I've seen it in the attic. So just that one house, I've seen it laid out the exact same, but the mechanicals are completely different.
Yeah.
So, each house is slightly different. As far as my approach goes, I mean, I just want to solve your goals and fall under budget. It's really as simple as that.
One thing about me is that as a marketing guy, I go out to all these different projects and I see all these different styles, and I see a lot of houses that are like mine, but they're like all a little bit different, but it gets me dreaming like, what can I do with my own house? And this is kind of a personal question, as in, because I'm interested in the answer as someone that wants to get a new kitchen or something like that. What is like the first hour conversation with the client? Like when you first pick up the phone and you talk to them, what does that entail? And where do you move from there in the process?
So we always start with a phone call to kind of get everything started, because we want to figure out who's going out. So, you'll either talk to Chris, talk to Steve, talk to me, talk to Anthony, anybody who's available, to kind of and this isn't to vet anybody. This is just to make sure that you're getting to the right estimator. Because like we said earlier, that everybody has their own little ins and outs and certain specialties that they can get into. So you'll start with that initial phone call, whether it's going to be a complete design build or it's just going to be more of like a strip and redo. We'll determine that from that call. Once we're out on site, that first hour and a half, I mean, it all depends on what we're getting into. Sometimes it's multiple jobs. I'll be there for sometimes 2.5 hours taking measurements. But it's more or less what's the dream, and what's the budget. It's not always straight out of the gate of how much do you have to spend on this job? It's nothing like that. It's just like we said earlier, we don't want to design things just to design things. We want to make sure that everything is falling under your expectation. We can build anything, but if the budget doesn't make sense, we're not building it. So we want to make sure that we're all on the same page with that. So usually when I'm out on site, I'll give some hints and some markers on big needle movers as far as the budget goes on the project, whether we're adding a freestanding tub. Are we doing a steam shower with body sprayers? Are we doing a full walk-in closet? Are we doing tile heated floor? Are we doing some of that cooler stuff? Because if we are, it's not that we have to scale back on other stuff, but it's just like, hey, this is all part of the same project. I don't want to necessarily, tell you that you have $10,000 to spend on your tub and then you only have $1,000 to spend on your tile. We want to make sure that everything's like, and everything's going to be, you're not going over to the showroom and, a $60,000 bathroom turns into a $90,000 bathroom. We want to make sure that everything's along the same page. It's not that necessarily happens a lot, but just to make sure that you have good budgets and good allowances out of the gate with the client's expectation. You could pick out a $300 faucet, you could pick out a $900 faucet. So it's those kind of things that we really talk about on the first meeting, I would say. We kind of get the taste, get a realm for the budget. A lot of these people come right out of the gate and say, we're not super fancy people. We want, pretty basic, and if we need to upgrade, we'll upgrade. A lot of people end up upgrading regardless because they see the nice stuff, and at this point they're a couple months into the project and they feel a little bit easier about the price and all of that. So sometimes that happens. But my goal is to make sure that all that kind of stuff is included right out of the gate. I want to make sure that you're taken care of. You don't have any worry about, what's this tub going to run me, or what's this faucet going to run me, or what's going to happen once they start installing the tile for the shower and all this stuff. So I just want to make sure all that stuff's kind of clean and cut right out of the gate.
You're kind of just making sure that it's possible.
I don't want to hit anybody with an "oh, by the way." Later down the line, that's another thing that we kind of pride ourselves on, where if there is a mistake, we'll own up to it and we'll own it, but it doesn't happen too often because everybody's kind of getting eyes on everything and making sure everything's as expected.
And we've been doing this for 40 years, so there's a lot of experience in house to making sure everything goes well.
It's hard for me to make a mistake with a team this good. But I'll put it that way, especially with our designers too. They make it look pretty as long as X, Y, and Z work. I trust them on making sure everything's going to look pretty once the project managers get out there to start work.
Like for me, I'm more of a function over form type of guy.
That's me.
I'd rather know that it's going to work than how it's going to look like. In that first phone call, you're doing that. You're making sure like everything that I want works and that it's possible to do. And then the form and the finishes are done by expert designers, which is cool.
Right. And also piggyback on that, it's not like we're doing builder's grade anything. Like everything's going to be name brand. We work with a lot of different vendors. So it's not going to be, we're not picking stuff off of Home Depot shelves. Everything's getting ordered. Everything's in-house through our vendors. You get a lot of choices, but you also, the interior designers are also there to kind of bring you back down to earth. You can go to a plumbing supply store and look at 80 million different fixtures and faucets and shower inserts and all kinds of stuff. They'll kind of, when you go into the showroom over at Warminster, they'll kind of, they'll give you 1 through 3 or 1 through 4 or 1 through 5 options and kind of bring it down a little bit more concise for you. So you're not going all over God's creation and you're wondering if this faucet fixture is going to match your towel bars or anything else like that. So
because I feel like the design and showroom process could be overwhelming, especially if you don't have people.
It can until you walk in there. It really can. And I try to do some of these budgets and these design reviews in the showroom so you feel a little bit more comfortable when you first walk in there. All the designers are great. They're super friendly. They know what they're doing. They know how to put a nice little board together for you when you walk in with some of your touches. A big thing with me is I'm always asking the wives to send me their Pinterest boards. It's a big thing. It is a wish list. That's what Pinterest is, but it's also a good indicator on like what their taste is. Off-white. Are we doing shaker? Are we doing raised panel? Are we doing wood floors, tile floors? Are we doing gold fixtures? Are we doing anything else like that? All those little things, even though I'm not, in the weeds with all the little design details, it helps me budget. Like it really does. Because, there's so many different ways you can go for, just kitchens and baths between countertops. Granite versus quartzite. There could be 20, 30, could be 40, 50% in difference in cost between the two materials. So like right out of the gate, that's a big needle mover. I want to make sure that you understand what I'm putting into the proposal out of the gate, especially when you're getting apples to apples prices. If you're going and getting other pricing or you're taking another design to bring it over to here because you weren't unsure of that price, I want to make sure that you understand that everything, when we're weighing it against other competition, that, we maybe included this where company-wide didn't, Or maybe we're factoring in reframing a wall where company-wise saying we're going to do time and materials because we don't know what it's going to take. And that's also the benefit of being a construction company. I mean, we can do anything, so it's really, it's a big help. It is with just the team and the resource.
All right, switching gears again a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about you. I know you're a hockey coach at CB East, right?
Yep.
And you've been playing hockey for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I mean, since 3 years old, I learned how to skate.
That's awesome. So, like, what skills have you learned with hockey and coaching that kind of helps you here? And give me a little bit about.
Yes, I mean, obviously I love the leadership role of being a head coach. Definitely mentoring some of the younger generation that's kind of coming up. I was thankful enough when I was in my youth years of playing, I didn't have any, and this isn't to throw a shade or anything like that at parent coaches, but I was thankful enough to have someone who didn't have either a son or a daughter on the team when we coached. And we ended up being very successful over a course of years. So I look back at the Montagnas, and they gave a lot to the game of hockey. I wouldn't be the guy I am today if they didn't coach me. So it's kind of why I decided to kind of go back and coach youth. It's also a good little hobby. It gets me out of the house for a couple hours during the week. But more like helping the little ones. It's awesome. I mean, now I'm in the high school, so they're not little ones anymore. And they're, some of them have even, looked to get into the building trades. And I've, been able to kind of steer them in the right direction, either going union or finding their niche that they can go in and kind of start a career with. So I also know that we partner with the tech school. So, it's kind of similar to that, where you want to give some of the younger generation some perspective on how to kind of grow a little bit. So, and, I played hockey for 20 years, so it kind of just lend itself to a coaching role.
Yeah. Are the Flyers going to be good this season going forward?
I mean, I bailed on season tickets last year. I was thinking about it this year, but I think they're just in a little bit of a rebuild year. So fortunately, I actually met Keith Jones about 2 years ago in passing. And, this was before he became president over there. He's a great down-to-earth guy. It seems like they really they're trying to right the ship over there with some young talent. So it'll be exciting to kind of see where they land this year. We're hoping for playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a decade of where we didn't miss the playoffs, and we've been missing that over the past couple of years. So I hope we get back to normal.
Yeah. Same here. I feel like, at the mid part of last year into this year, you can definitely see some growth there.
Yeah.
We're definitely getting better.
Well, I mean, they just need to add goal scorers. I mean, we lost Claude Giroux. I mean, he was the name and shining lights, for us for a couple of years. Unfortunately, Holmgren didn't build a good team around them to become a championship qualified team. But we're on the right way now with Danny Briere, hopefully. So that's what I'm praying for.
Yeah. Same. So I do this every podcast. It's just called Rapid Fire. Have you seen any of those yet?
I've seen a couple, yeah.
Yeah, so I ask the same questions to everyone and just answer them quickly. And I feel like it's a good way to kind of explain who you are a little bit. All right, so Rapid Fire. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee, okay. Where is your favorite place to grab lunch?
I'm not much of a lunch eater. I love our pizza days.
Okay.
They're my go-to. So, I mean, classic lunch spot, it's really anywhere where I'm getting a hoagie. I mean, being here where we're at right now, Village Pantry may be on.
Oh, yeah.
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 And luckily, I just picked up a project 2 doors down from Village Pantry. So we run that. I'll definitely be hitting that for lunch every day.
Yeah.
Sandwiches are awesome.
Yeah.
And then over in Newtown, Steve enlightened me about the clubhouse. Every Tuesday they do tacos. So every once in a while we'll go hop over there and get a couple tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the first one to not say Wawa. Because Wawa, I
was raised on Wawa.
Yeah.
And, this one that's right around the corner over here. I used to live right down on Woodlake Drive, not a half a mile from this office. So that was my go-to for a long time. Even when we were back here going in with Chris, waving to everybody, saying hi to everybody. It's awesome. It's a nice little community store. It's just, you've had them so many times, and it's great. It's a great fallback on, you're never going to get a bad smoky. But, sometimes you like to share the wealth with some of these smaller businesses around here. Sometimes they take a little bit more care with certain things versus the other. Yeah. And then there's the Jewish jelly right around the corner.
Dude, Manny's.
That was my grandmother.
Don't get me started, man.
My grandmother's favorite spot. Like her and my mom still go there to this day. Now my grandmother's actually in an in-law suite that we built for her over in Warminster. So yeah, they still come down here to go to Manny's.
Yeah, before they closed down the bridge, I would eat Manny's with Anthony and Matt on Fridays, pastrami Fridays, and Fred would join us. And then when they left, I was eating Manny's 3 to 4 times a week. And I love Manny's.
Yeah,
especially their pastrami and they smoke their own meats in-house. Awesome. But Village Pantry too. My girlfriend and I,
it's just a classic club.
Love their Italian, dude. And when you walk in there, you're getting real stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I love Wawa. It's great for, for me, I use it as like a last minute thing, or if I have rewards where I can get free food.
Yeah, right.
I
mean, they're a coffee stop in the morning, and they'll still grab a snack to bite here and there at Wawa. But I mean, we even have the new one that's over by the Newtown office, was right on.
Yeah, they just built that.
It's convenient. It's great. It's just sometimes I like to spread the wealth a little bit. Yeah. So
And the pizza days, that's like a famous Munz thing. We do pizza, at least in this office, on Mondays.
Or Wednesdays. We're Wednesdays down there. I mean, Fred always gets his Supreme with sausage and peppers and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's always a nice little midweek treat for us.
Yeah. All right, next question. What's one skill you'd love to master outside of work?
You know what? And I'm going to put this on like sleight of hand and card tricks.
Okay.
What I want to kind of get involved with. And or I did a little bit of like piano in high school. So I took some digital music classes, stuff like that. Learned how to play piano through junior and senior year. Just to have a nice little entertainment for like family parties and stuff like that. That's always been kind of like a dream of mine. The quarter trick behind the ear, stuff like that. Yeah. Just to kind of I like to keep things light. Those little things. Those guys I've generally seen that eases tension in situations. So yeah, that's definitely a skill I'd like to pick up. I've already tried here and there. So, we'll see when I return. Maybe I'll pull the ear behind your ear.
Yeah.
Or pull the coin behind your ear.
Yeah. Dude, freshman year at college, I thought that learning card tricks would get me girls.
Yeah.
So I learned all these sleight of hand tricks. So when we went out to parties, I would, do a little card trick that gets you in the door. It did not work one time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a fun thing to know. I have a buddy that is really good at it.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, wow, when you get really good at card tricks, it can be a game changer.
Is he like a dealer or anything like that?
No, he's just like, I guess, interested in it, and he's always good at it. Every time we hang out, he always shows us a new card trick, and every single time it blows my mind.
Yep.
And I'm like, I know the basic tricks, pick a card, any card, I can guess the card, and like all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But every single time I see him, he's like, let me show pick a card, put it back in. Then he's doing all this other extracurricular stuff. And as someone that knows a little bit about card tricks, I'm always like, all right, so how is he doing that? Is he doing a flip deck? Is he doing an organized deck? And I'm always like, yeah, I have no idea. And that's the beauty in it, If you weren't in construction, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I feel like I'd still be in the service industry in some degree. I've always felt like I would either be in a landscaping business or I'd be like basement waterproof, like something. I would still be in the trades to some degree, I believe. I mean, my father was a carpenter growing up. My mother's a nurse. So we're kind of, little more of a blue collar family growing up.
Yeah.
And I definitely like to do things with my hands. I mean, I didn't come from a family where we could really build or pay a lot of people to do things for us. I mean, we had to do a lot of stuff ourselves, so we learned. So I just love picking up kind of new skills, learning how to do this or do that. The goal is to kind of be proficient in everything I try to touch or do. So I'd be doing something else in some sort of trade, whether it would be electrical, plumbing, framing, something to that degree. I'd imagine I'd be in.
Right on. All right, final question. Tell me 3 fun facts about you that you don't think other people would know.
Yeah, I mean, I would more just kind of say, like, you know, me and my wife have been together since we were in middle school.
That's
so
awesome.
So middle school sweethearts. We just had our first child last year, expecting our next in May.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, life's kind of hitting the ground running for us. I mean, we're really starting to get our roles together as parents together now. So that's a little interesting part about me. I mean, I coach ice hockey. I've been doing that for about 7 years. Other hobbies, there's not too much. I mean, hockey takes up a lot of time, and now the little one takes up a lot of my time too. I mean, so if I could say one hobby versus the other, I mean, it's going to any kind of Philadelphia sports game that I can kind of get my hands on. It's mainly just Flyers, Eagles, and the Phillies. Not much of a Sixers guy. You know, basketball kind of avoided me. I'm kind of more into the brute sports, football, hockey, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, pretty simple dude.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm a big Eagles guy. Got the Eagles logo tattooed on my chest. Now this,
I actually have that same sign.
Yeah. So
I'm about to get it in my office.
This stuff is actually Chris's. He was a big collector.
Oh yeah.
And you guys can't see it, but there's drawers throughout the back here that's also filled with Eagles stuff. And there's some Philly stuff up here. And I'm blessed to have it in my office.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
fun to look at.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
And I'm a big Eagles fan. I'm a big wrestling guy, as you can see, with the belt, pro wrestling stuff. So I like to keep this backdrop interesting to look at, because I look at it for 8 hours a day.
Oh,
so you know what I mean. Keep it cool. But yeah, I think that is everything I got for you today.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on.
It's my pleasure.
This is Jeff Mitchell, and this is the Don't Move, Improve podcast by Munz Construction. You can check this out on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere you can find a podcast. I'm Nick Rubolino, and we'll catch you on the next one.